Tonight, I want to start with the audience here in New York. Because I'm out on a limb here. This is something that I hadn't even told most of my staff, the E4. Most of my staff didn't even know about E4 until what? Pat, my best friend, is here, who works with me. Most of the staff knew maybe 3 weeks ago?
Maybe.
Yeah. And this is stuff that I have been working on for a long time. I'm way out on a limb. Is this connecting with anybody here? Do you understand? Is it making sense? Do you know where it's going? Anybody? Yeah? Okay. I think they're lying. I think they're bluffing. This is such an unconventional way to fix the country. But it really started with Keith and I talking in my office one day. On my couch, not his. I should charge him. And we were just talking about the things that I did to change my life. Did you know where you were going at the time when you asked me that? Did you connect it with the country?
Well, I connect everything individual with the country, of course, because I know that it's individuals who can change things.
Okay.
Right.
I think you're bluffing too. You're trying to sound smarter than you are.
Yeah.
When we put this together, courage, faith, truth, compassion, friendship, family, common sense, the first one really starts with courage.
Well, it does. And listen, when we started to get to know each other, it struck me that when you were as open as you were, as quickly as you were, and I found that there was really very few defenses that you were deploying. You really wanted to tell me when I asked what your story had been. And it's gripping. But what I noticed when we really got into it is the things you had used to come back from your mom taking her life, from trying to cover all the pain up with alcohol or material goods or false friends. The elements of your journey were the same ones that as a psychiatrist I try to deploy with people who come to me for help. And you found them on your own.
Because they're common sense. Because
they're common sense, but they're hard-won common sense. And boy, if we can offer a shortcut, what a great thing.
Yeah, they're common sense. It really comes from the beginning with me. It did with Thomas Jefferson. I've told the story a million times. Question with boldness even the very existence of God. When you do that, that goes to courage. When you question with boldness the very existence of God, what he's saying there is question everything.
Yes.
Question everything. And don't have the answer. Don't look for your answer or the convenient one. And you will find answers that you do not want to embrace.
And how did you get there? Because let's get into it, right? You were on a olive green shag carpet.
Yeah.
On Christmas Eve, having said goodbye to your daughters, post-divorce, and thinking you might not live.
By choice, I felt like the guy who called me this week in the car. Yeah.
And you said something tremendously important. It's as important as it is for the individual as it is for every individual in this country, which is you said, you know what, I decided after I wrote a letter to my daughters explaining the ways in which I had failed them.
It wasn't a suicide note. It was just a letter of, man, I suck as a dad.
I know, you told me that.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, no, I get that. But at that point, you said something tremendously important that I've used with my patients since, and that I realized that I had tried to use before, which is you said, I decided to get up off that carpet, but I didn't feel any better. People expect that somehow when they decide, okay, I'm going to do it, I'll face the pain, I've been down on the ground, but I'm going to get up. They think there should be a bright light.
There's not.
All the weight should lift off their shoulders.
There's not.
It's very important for people to understand fear and doubt accompany courage. Don't look for a blue sky.
Not only that, but you also have to pay for all of the sins of the past. You will have to pay for them. You know, we were talking on the radio this week about the debt ceiling. Whether they're going to, who wants to raise the debt ceiling? Who says we shouldn't raise the debt ceiling? Okay? Do you realize that that probably means collapse of our system if we do not raise the debt ceiling? How many people understand that it most likely means collapse of our system? Did you realize that? Okay, a couple people knew that. That is, okay, let me question with boldness what that is. Now, you may still raise your hand and say, well, then that's what it's going to take. We have to pay for the sins. We could say right now, we're not going to run up any more debt. But we still have to pay for what we've done. We just now have to not do any more of that. But the bright light doesn't come because you've got problems that you're still going to have to face, and that's where the courage comes in. Back in just a second.